think we are live. Yes, we are. Okay, 10 minutes late, but I want to do it now because I'm not home yet, so I can't dress up for this. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to my daily Facebook Live. Gonna be creative today to find a way of doing it, and since I'm in the car, I thought I'd do it this way. I'll talk about that one in a moment too. So, first of all, thanks for joining me. My name is Barry Selby. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert. Helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And I'm a passionate champion for the divine feminine. I had an interview today for a summit that starts on Wednesday, and we went so deep. So I'm still basking in the afterglow of that. But I want to talk today. Oh, by the way, I should say, if you haven't watched my broadcasts before, I do these talks every day. They're called Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart, and today's is number 312. There's lots of content that keeps to come up about relationships, and today's is another one that was kind of inspired by a conversation I had yesterday, but also I know it's on a lot of people's minds, which is around the topic of shame. And I want to speak to the point of view of the after effects for those who feel ashamed for something they've done or not done, because it can be something you've omitted versus what you've already committed to. So let me put some context on this, or some preamble. Context preamble. I'm trying to figure out what to do. So hopefully this is working. Actually, I'm impressed that the signal's actually going through, because I'm sitting in a parking lot at Trader Joe's, where I just went grocery shopping and didn't get home in time to shoot on time, and I'm already 10 minutes late, so I said, let's do this now. But I wasn't ashamed of that. So, speaking to the idea of shame, I have many friends and a client, in fact, a client I'm working with right now, who she's feeling some shame because she went back on a commitment she had to me, or to herself rather, and I was holding accountable, and she basically went and made the mistake again, and that was a painful experience for her. So I was talking with her. Sorry, itchy eyes. It's dry out today. Truth to be told, I wasn't absolutely, totally surprised by this, because I know she hasn't yet had the chance to heal, and her boyfriend's influence was still very strong. But she feels ashamed because she didn't resist it and didn't stop it from happening. And I was so in her corner. I mean, she emailed me, and somebody went back saying, you know, I appreciate how you feel. And it was kind of like, now you see what the challenges are, because as she's doing the healing work, she's seeing his behavior showing up more overtly, and it was overt. I mean, you got violent. So my conversation, my context today is to say to you, if you feel ashamed because something happened in a past relationship, if you feel ashamed because you think for some reason you carry the blame for it, whether you do or whether you don't, I can recommend some steps to transform, heal, and let go of the pain and that burden you're still carrying, so you can be free. So I'll get to that in a moment. Second part, it's weird doing this in a parking lot. It's funny because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did my Facebook Lives in a hotel corridor, because I was in an event this weekend, and you can watch those brief broadcasts for that context. That was 3:09, 10, and 11. This is 3:12. And today's is in Trader Joe's. I haven't had a home office broadcast in 5 days, which kind of feels weird. Maybe I'll start doing more out in the world ones. It's kind of working. Just got props on the steering wheel, so this works. But it's still my steering wheel. Let me say this: I'm driving again. For those of you who don't know my story, or part of my story, part of my shame I was carrying, just speaking to the topic, was I lost my license. Well, I actually officially lost my license 7.5, 8 years ago. I actually didn't know I'd lost it until 5 years ago. This is a whole nother, no. Yeah, 5 years ago. That's a whole other conversation. But the reality was, the reasons for that suspension have gone away. It was a financial thing. No, it wasn't drunk driving, none of that stuff. But I was ashamed because I value my freedom. And I was actually talking about this with a friend of mine recently, how not being able to drive as a single man, going out on dates, is really challenging, because being the passenger in a car, and I know a way around it, but for being a passenger in a car really doesn't help me stay my masculine as a man. So this is a whole nother spin, but it's another thing about shame, feeling like I didn't have the access to be where I wanted to be. But I wasn't legal to drive, so I couldn't take the steering wheel. So I went through this interesting internal process of self-recrimination. And I mean, I worked through it, wasn't going to be attached to it, but I also felt this feeling of like, how do I own, how do I lead, how do I take charge when I'm sitting in the passenger seat? It's kind of challenging as a man. So think about that one for a moment too. So getting back to the shame piece, sorry, so I got my license back, and I'm driving. It's not my car, it's my friend's car. I'm actually it's a rental car she has, and she put me on the contract, so I get to drive, which is nice. It's a really cool experience again. Been a long time. But part of me felt like saying this now, and the reason I'm saying it on camera is because I haven't talked about that. And I guess in a way, I mean, it's kind of like, did I do it out of just privacy? But there is a part of me felt ashamed that I didn't have a license for a number of years. Living in Los Angeles, which is not easy to do. Living in LA without a car or a driving license isn't easy. So I had this desire, I guess, in a way, not planned ahead, share this here, because now I'm outing myself as having carried that feeling around for a while. But now I'm driving again, so I feel very relieved. And I shouldn't say I would have waited for that, but it wasn't something that came up in topic. So this piece about shame is an interesting conversation. And there are different things that trigger, inspire, generate shame in us. Yet the same result happens. So whatever the circumstances for the shame that you may be carrying, if you are carrying shame, either it's something you did or you didn't do, or something was done to you, because some people feel shame for letting somebody else do something to them. It's not even something they did themselves. I could say that was about my experience, because the fact that, the DMV took my license away, I didn't take it away, but I made a mistake. So it's kind of like shame, ownership, that's a different question. But my point about it is the healing for shame, the resolving of shame, is pretty much the same, which is, there's a few pieces to it. So, I mean, forgiveness is an obvious part, because shame is largely tied to self-judgment, feeling that we are not whole, less than, incomplete, at fault for something we may have done or not done. So forgiveness is a big piece of that. But also part of that is, in a way, if you imagine yourself, an interesting analogy, to be like a drone hovering above the situation. So instead of being in the situation, if you've had shame experience, so take a moment to think about this for yourself. If you've had shame, or you're carrying shame for yourself, imagine you were sitting or looking through the camera of a drone above, since that's what's common right now, so talking about that, and looking down at the situation, or even from the side even, of you and the other person, or you and the circumstance, or you in the situation where I didn't do not disturb, damn. Okay, continuing. I hope they're still, I guess I'm still connected. Yes, I'm still connected. I forgot that. Let me do this. If I can, yeah, I did. Okay, got it. So, phone ringing in the middle of my call. I'm going, what am I thinking now? Okay, so, forgiveness, yes. Imagine yourself seeing the situation from outside. And the biggest thing is if you saw some other person or other people having that situation, how harshly would you judge them? How, what's the word I'm looking for? How punitive would you be about them? Would you beat them around the head? Would you be upset with them? Would you smack them around? Would you say you've got to go to jail for 10 years? So why would you do that to yourself? I know, it's shame. That's the whole thing. Because here's the thing, by the way. You cannot feel shame unless you have integrity, truly. Because people who don't give a flying whatever don't feel shame. They just do what they do. They don't care. So if you're someone who actually does have a sense of shame about something, you can actually pat yourself on the back saying you have integrity. You have willingness to be human. And that's a plus sign. And that's a step in the right direction. By having a willingness, first of all, to recognize that you're human. Secondly, to recognize you have integrity. A person of integrity owns up to what they've done wrong, and also owns up to what they've done right, by the way, and is willing to do the work necessary to restore balance and equanimity. And if that's something you need to do, you can do that. But the big part of it is you've got to be willing to let yourself off the hook. And that's probably the biggest piece of shame, is that we carry shame around sometimes for years, decades, because something happened 20 years ago we haven't forgiven ourselves for, or the other person, and are not willing to accept anything good because we judge ourselves. And I've seen people who carry shame around for so many years, they get sick from it. Their body just shuts down, and they don't give themselves any positive experience because they're still banging themselves over the head as if they're still judging and blaming and experiencing something that is like it's a lifetime sentence, and it's not true. So go easy on yourself, be gentle, and be respectful of who you are. Yes, if you made a mistake, do the forgiveness work. Be willing to be humble enough to make your amends to yourself, to other people. I mean, this is too often the stuff I guess I'm realizing as I'm saying this, and then move on. Because the biggest piece people forget to do is to move on, to be transformed, to lift above what they went through before. And that, probably the biggest piece. I'm looking at other options. That may be the biggest piece. So, having said that, if you're feeling shame, take the time to do the work. If you're feeling shame, reach out, get support. If you want support, you can find it from people around you, from counselors, from ministers, from coaches. Get through this. You can heal and be whole. Okay? I think that gives it up. I think that gives it. So, thank you for watching my broadcast, as unusual as it is, being in the phone, being in the car. It's interesting how everything just came together. Thanks for watching. If you haven't seen my broadcast before, I do these every day on Facebook Live. They also go on YouTube after that. You can find these on my website, which is barryselby.com. On there, you'll see a video blog, which is the videos these will be listed under. Also, if you're looking for help in the area of love and relationships, I invite you to sign up for a complimentary conversation about clarity, or actually a complimentary clarity conversation, as it's officially called. On my website, you go to the consult or the Let's Chat button at the beginning of the. Again, okay, my back, yes. Trying to finish this off before I get interrupted again. I can't stop the phone call coming through, so be quick. On the website, you go to barryselby.com, click on the Let's Chat button to sign up for a discovery session. People are doing that, which is wonderful. And if you watch these broadcasts, you can watch them on my business page, which is Barry Selby, the author on Facebook, or on YouTube under Barry Selby, which is Messages from the Masculine as a playlist. Your homework is look in your life where you're carrying shame, and then let yourself off the hook. Sounds simple, but if you start doing that, you'll have amazing results. And with that, I wish you well, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.